in our country of the century.
A few months ago, and a year or two ago, they were demanding that we must support the retention of the H-bomb by Britain. They don't say that now, do they? Not even one of them. They've changed, in all honour to them. They could change again, and we'd all welcome it. But you know, in 2 or 3 years' time, the election will be upon us. Let's do it boldly here and now, and we've got time to change the world.
But I was out of the parliamentary party because I'd voted in the House of Commons in accordance with the policy the party had agreed on the bomb and the nuclear weapons at its conference, but that made me voting against the parliamentary party, and so they took the whip away from me. When Harold Wilson was elected leader, I was out of the parliamentary party, but he soon took steps to get me in, and so I was happily back in the party again.
And I should like to take this first opportunity of pledging my colleagues and myself to do everything we can to the fullest extent of our abilities in the interests of this country and our people.
Whatever else he was or wasn't, Harold Wilson was a really brilliant electioneer. At election times, he came absolutely alive, and of course, when he took over from Gaitskell, you know, Harold Wilson really was unbeatable. So, Harold Wilson's not given sufficient credit for what he did achieve. The most severe criticism, though, I think, is the one some of us made at the time, that is in 1966, when he'd won the second election. He had a majority of 100 there. That was when the moment when I believe they should have been much more adventurous in policies of establishing the pension system on a stronger basis, making sure that there was a real transfer of wealth from rich to poor on a bigger basis, and making many socialist measures.
So, Mr. Chairman and comrades, I didn't become a member of our party, even less did I become the leader of our party, to propound shallow analyses and false remedies for fundamental economic and social problems.
Jim Callaghan, a much underrated Prime Minister, he was not so good at the previous jobs, in my opinion, including, I'm sorry to say, where he was Foreign Secretary. And we had some bitter arguments with him then, especially over Cyprus and what they did and didn't do. Once he'd become Prime Minister, I think he was a very good Prime Minister. He held that government together when we hardly had a majority in the House of Commons. He guided us through a very difficult economic situation, and he did it as partly because he did know the Labour movement very well and had learnt a lot from politics there.
It's up to us to give them the leadership, if we can, to take the measures even if they're disagreeable, and I shall have to do a lot of disagreeable things, I've no doubt, as Prime Minister.
We tried to persuade Jim Callaghan to postpone the holding of the 1979 election, because I believe if we had done so, we could still have won. Above all, if we'd got that election at the right time, we could have stopped the whole of the Thatcher episode.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope.
During the last 2 or 3 days of the campaign, my 4-year-old grandson said, I do hope Grandad doesn't become Prime Minister again, because he doesn't come and see us often enough now.
After 1979, at the conference in Blackpool, Callaghan came to me and said he was going to have to resign as leadership. I was very sad about that suggestion. I think he had a better chance of winning than anybody else, and I tried to persuade him not to. Sonny Jim, as he was known, was still very popular, much more popular in the polls than Thatcher was. Like Harold Wilson, I think he had just grown tired. And if he had stayed on, we could have avoided the catastrophe of 1983. Anyhow, that's enough for now.